One more mix, lid goes back on, and I'll see you in 5 minutes. Buonasera and benvenuti. This evening I will be cooking a very typical Sicilian side dish called Broccolo Affucati, which stands for drowned broccoli. Yes, drowned as underwater. This is a very typical Sicilian dish. It's a side dish, it's delicious. It takes longer to talk about it than cooking it, and also it is something that in Sicily they cook generally in the evening as a typical evening Sicilian dinner. But my dish is going to be the simplest of all. There are different variants. I'll give you the odd variants as I cook it. But the reason why it's called drowned is the way you cook it, and you will see that in a little while. So I'll make a start. I have cleaned and chopped the florets from a head of broccoli, which weighs approximately 400 grams. The size of the florets are broadly the same, and also I have cleaned the stem, and I will be using this as well, and I've cut this also in very similar size so that everything will cook at the same time. So I'll put this on one side to drain further, and I'll make a soffritto. I have removed the skin from a couple of medium-sized cloves of garlic. You can do three things. You can use them as they are. Do not crush them, do not squeeze them, assuming you want to find them, dish them out afterwards. Or you can squish them with a garlic crusher, or do what I do in this case, which is often what I do. I'll go with the blade of a knife, I'll give them a gentle crush, and I will leave them in my soffritto, and they will be left in my broccoli later, but they will also release a little bit more flavor, and that is quite nice. This is a simple recipe, but you do need a fairly generous amount of olive oil, and I will add the garlic. And even the soffritto in this recipe is also very simple. It will consist of the garlic, which I just added, and also an onion. I will be using a white onion because it's going to be sharper, and in this particular dish it needs to contrast the sweetness of the broccoli, and it will be better, the bitterness. But you can also use a red onion. It will not be as flavorful, but if you prefer red onions, by all means use red onions. I like red onions, but not in this dish. The broccoli will cook for other 20 minutes if you like it hard to bite, or for 30 minutes if you prefer it to be soft. And that is why I have actually chopped my onion in relatively medium-sized pieces, because it's likely that I'll cook mine anything between 20 minutes and 30 minutes, so that it retains a little bit of crunchiness, but equally well I want it to be cooked. Medium-high temperature, and my onions and garlic are beginning to sizzle. I mentioned earlier that I'll give you some variants. This is when you can add some anchovies if you like, or indeed capers as well, or both. I want to keep the recipe vegetarian but also simpler, but by all means add some anchovies, and they will add a distinctive flavor. I'll leave this now to sizzle gently for about 4 to 5 minutes until the onions are a little bit softer but not completely soft, and then we can add the broccoli. 5 minutes on, and the onions are looking great. They have caramelized, and some of them have turned into this lovely golden color. And also, if you look at the garlic, hasn't burned, it's perfect. So make sure that you've got enough olive oil. And this is when I'm going to be adding all of my broccoli next. And I'll give them a good mix, and I will leave them to gently combine with the onion and the garlic. I mentioned drowning earlier, and I'm going to be drowning the broccoli now with some white wine, half a glass. I'll just pour it on. You can also use red wine if you like. I prefer white wine, just like the onions. It's a little bit more punchy in terms of flavor. Red wine is a little bit softer, and in this particular dish I think white wine is better, but by all means you can use red wine, of course. And I'm now adding a tiny little amount of salt, not a lot at this stage. I can always add some more at the end. You can easily add some more, but you cannot take it away. So the wine is beginning to bubble, and I'll give them a good mix, and I'll place the lid on, and I will not touch for the next 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and check to make sure that hasn't dried up. The last 5 minutes I will be adding some olives, optional, but again I'm likely to cook this for 20 minutes, but if you were to cook it for 30 minutes you might want to add the olives at the 25th minute, but we will see in 15 minutes time what they look like. So medium temperature, medium low, see you in 15. Okay, 15 minutes on, time to check. The smell reminds me very much of my mom's kitchen in Sicily. She used to cook this quite a lot, and they are looking really good actually. Let's stab one. Yeah, they are not too bad, just as I like them, nice and crunchy, and I will now be adding some olives. And I'm going to be adding a combination of black and green olives. There is also the odd piece of sun-dried tomato, if you can see here. And they are kept in olive oil, which is great because I need to add some more anyway. And I'm going to pour a good couple of tablespoons, these are, 1 and 2. One more mix, lid goes back on, and I'll see you in 5 minutes. And we are ready. First thing, I'll turn this off, which is so noisy. I cannot stand it. Right, let's have a smell. Oh, it's wonderful. The olives have added additional flavor. It's absolutely wonderful. And I'm doing now a little check for texture, and the broccoli are absolutely perfect. They are slightly crunchy, or maybe I should say al dente, the Italian word. And the stems are, yes, they are slightly harder, but still not a big deal. So they will be perfect, okay? I like them crunchy, so remember, 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes if you like them nice and crunchy like me, or up to half an hour if you want them nice and soft. So I'll add a little bit more olive oil. I did say this is an olive oil rich recipe, but this is now raw olive oil, so it will add a different type of flavor. And I'll do one very final mix. Actually, I need to add a little pepper, and also I might have to add a little more salt. I'll see that once I taste them. And you can be quite generous with pepper, like the olive oil will add a different flavor at the end. One more mix. I will pick one up and I'll show it to you closer to this camera. Look, they are beautiful and green and perfectly cooked. Can't wait to taste them. Yeah, I'll try that and a little olive. Oh God. Yeah, to die for. Really divine, beautiful, and a little crunchy. I absolutely love them. You can eat this cold or warm as well. They are delicious regardless. And they will be my side dish to my Sicilian evening dinner, where I will be eating some cheese and some ham alongside these, and a little bread. That would be pretty much it. Okay, that is the end of the video. Make it, honestly. It's a vegetarian dish. You can use anchovies if you fancy some fish, but will not be vegetarian anymore. And see how you get on. And it's a kind of an unusual dish. I don't think everybody knows in the world, but it's very popular in Sicily. Arrivederci, grazie, and if you like it, subscribe. There are tons of other videos just like that on the channel. Arrivederci, buon appetito, and see you later.